Welcome back to the Inside Us podcast with your host, Nick Racioppi. Today's special guest is dabbling in a little bit of health and fitness. So if you guys wanted a serious podcast where you guys might learn how to take care of your bodies inside you and us and everybody, and just overall better, what's the word I'm looking for? Better health, longevity. We're trying to make it to 100. That's what we're trying to do. And this man can get you there. David McRae. How's it going, buddy?
Dude, what's up? Nick, thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
I have been, all right, so for everybody behind the scenes, I guess to kind of pull the curtain back, we've been talking about doing this for, close to a year now.
Yeah, it seems like it,
Yeah. I think we both started our own things, and we were like, why aren't we kind of making this a trifecta of platforms where we're taking our platforms and then the individuals and bringing them together. And I've always said, I think the health community needs people that are attainable, right? Like I always feel like I am the attainable person. I don't work out, I wouldn't say every day. I'm probably, 4 or 5 days out of the week doing strength training, but then I'm doing jujitsu like every other day as of currently. But I think the attainability for the average person, I think, could always be like bolstered. I don't even know if that's the right word to use in this predicament, but could always be bolstered. And and I think you're doing a really good job at that. So I'd love for you to just describe, what you're trying to do, where you're going with the health and fitness game, and what kind of brought you into it, Dave.
Yeah, man. Well, shit. I'm not really quite sure what bolstered is.
Yeah, I don't know either. I
Since
just
I don't
said
know what it is. I'm gonna take it as an insult. You had a real harsh tone coming off, but no, dude. I already forgot the question. Honestly, I'm still stuck on bolstered. I'm trying to figure out what bolstered means. But
No.
You asked me what I do and kind of
what kind of brought you into it?
Into the health space, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What kind of got you into it, and what's the lane you're choosing for your occupation?
Yeah, so I guess I always grew up in athletics and sports, but I was always a skinny kid. So once I graduated high school, I was like, dude, I'm gonna learn how to put on muscle, learn how to do it right. So that's what I went to school for. Went to college, graduated with kinesiology, and
say that one more time. What was that?
Kinesiology.
That's you like moving objects and stuff with your mind.
Yeah, it's like movement of the body.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll just fuck with you. So kinesiology,
moving objects with your mind.
Yeah. That's kinesis. My bad.
Yeah, it was actually Professor X's School for the Gifted.
Oh shit! Yeah, dude. Hell yeah, you went. That's great.
So after that, the goal was to be collegiate level or high school level strength coach, working with athletes. And so I took the next obvious step in that, and I joined the Marine Corps. That's where we met. Dude, every accomplished strength coach I know has gone through the Marine Corps as a route. So that's the way I went too, man.
Yeah. So you get out of the Marine Corps. So are you completed with schooling?
Dude, I was done with school before I went in the Marine Corps.
Oh, wow. So it all finished. So there's no like additional certs. You're just now like, you're just living live. You're just doing the damn thing.
Yeah, man, I got tons of certs, but I mean, do your people care about that? I'm a certified strength and conditioning specialist. I'm a certified online trainer. I'm certified nutrition coach. I got all sorts of certs.
Yeah.
So right now I'm working in the online space, which has been kind of new for me for about the past year and a half or so. And dude, it's opened a whole new world. I'm working from home. I'm helping people all over the country. Your man's even international.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Whew. So,
Chiseling them
yeah, that's what I'm
European
doing.
bodies.
What's that?
I said chiseling them European bodies.
Damn right.
They could use it. They could use it. I just got back from Europe, and look, I'm not impressed. Dolph Lundgren was probably the best thing to come out of there, you know?
Hey, dude, they need to have their game on a little different level because
It's all
their
football.
swimsuits are a little bit more revealing than ours are. You
Yeah.
know? We like to hide behind these
Baggy
long
clothes.
swim trunks.
Yeah. That's because we got too much. Can't fit in that little old Speedo. We got too much. No,
Can't fit it all in a dump truck.
So you get out of the Marine Corps, and what were the steps you were taking? Like, where did you find yourself? And I would imagine, as soon as you get out, it's like, oh, it's what everybody thinks when they get out of the military or police or law enforcement is police. So I'm an idiot, but any type of thing where they have kind of regulations on their time and space and kind of the things that they can do are limited. So what were your initial steps? You were like, I have all this free time, probably spent some time with the family, caught back up on that, and then it was like off to the races. Like, we got to get this online stuff going, because I noticed you're pretty consistent, right? And I think that's the key, especially with the health and fitness industry. Like, if you are not consistent, if you're posting, one or two videos a month, like, and that's what people do, and they think they're like, they're influencers on Instagram or Facebook, and it's like, dude, you can't. This is a daily grind. Like, people need to see that you're consistent, and that's what I believe is the resume. Is like, people will look at your page like, oh damn, this dude's got like over 1,000 posts, and he's doing shit daily. He's got the story going, blah blah blah. So, how hard was it for you to? Because I just had Doug Bennett on, and he's a reservist, and we were kind of talking about the transition. So, what, coming out of the military, how was that transition? Did it affect you at all, or were you just kind of prepared like an adult to move on from a chapter of your life?
I mean, shit, I was already an old man when I went into the Marine Corps.
Yeah, I remember you were a little bit older.
I was the age that most people go or get out of the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I went in. So, I had some time to live on my own, and I didn't just go straight in from high school. I had some time in the real world before that, so I think that made the transition a little easier.
Yeah, you knew what to look for.
Exactly, and I also got a sugar mama, so she made the transition a little easier.
Yeah.
Wife's got a good job keeping your boy afloat, so.
Yeah, that's good. I always say that's
a big step.
If I were to get out, like, I'm like, babe, you got it. We're Bezos or we're folding. Like, that's it. So you're gonna have to. Yeah, what is it? Bezos or bust. That's it. There's no in between. So we're either going to Mars, or like we're gonna just have to get divorced. Because like, what are we doing here? No, but so that's good, and I think the people who have like a solid family, because another thing I wanted to get into in a little bit is like kind of the emotional fitness as well. I've noticed that some of my buddies, their emotional fitness, like they're strong, they're they have tons of endurance, cardio, but their mental endurance and their emotional endurance kind of falters. So it's nice to know that some people transitioning do have that, I guess, emotional fitness too, because that's a very stressful situation. And if you're not ready for it, for those of you that don't know, like in the military, you're kind of moving around. They can tell you to go one place, and as soon as you receive those orders, like, you really don't have a choice. So you're either moving, or they're like, you're gonna have to keep it stepping here in the next year or two because you don't want to fill orders. So once you got back home, you are, I don't, you're, what state? I don't want to give out like your home address, but what's, you're still in North Carolina, yeah?
Yeah, I live right outside of Charlotte.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Now.
That's awesome. Um, so I would imagine, are there, because Charlotte's a pretty big city, are there any places that are looking for in-person trainers that you've sought after? Or are you kind of trying to go the different route, stick with that online, and then transition to something further down the line? Or how do you foresee this going?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I'm still trying to figure out and figure out the best structure. But when I got out of the Marine Corps, we lived in Holly Ridge, so like right down the road from Jacksonville.
Yeah.
For about a year and a half. So I was working at a gym there the whole time, doing everything in person. And when we moved to Charlotte, I started my own business, and I was doing in-home personal training, traveling to people's houses.
Oh wow, yeah.
In-home.
And that was that because of COVID, or was that always a thing and COVID just happened to happen? Was that something you were always?
That was the business model.
Okay.
And then COVID happened and kind of shut that down. So that's when I had to pivot again and kind of reinvent the business again and go online. So
yeah, because I was gonna say, I have this saying, right? I'm sure you're aware of autoerotic asphyxiation.
Of course.
Okay, so my new catchphrase has been the belt around the neck, right? And that's like, it's in reference to somebody who's getting off, right? Like they fucking love that shit. So what I'll say now is like, oh, that's the belt around the neck, because it's the finisher. It's like the best. So like I was thinking in my head, if you're a traveling physical trainer, like COVID's got to be the best, because it could be 6 foot distance, and like you would have your social distancing, you could wear a mask and still go to homes and train people, and you now have the virtual lane. I was just gonna say that's the belt around the neck, but then you were saying it was complete 180. It actually affected terribly, and you had to completely pivot 180 and go fucking virtual. So there I am with my fucking
dude, I love that. That's a great analogy, man.
Yeah, thank you. It's come a long way. I've thought about gripping at the base. That just sounds vulgar, right? But like when you say belt around the neck, that it goes two ways. You're either suicidal or you're trying to finish. So no. So I see a lot of people. Sorry, I'm stuttering here. A lot of people have been trying to do the virtual thing. I've obviously been doing the virtual thing. I've tried to hop on TikTok to kind of boost some notoriety for some of the things that I'm doing, and I started the podcast well before COVID. Well, I guess not well before COVID, because I had just gotten back from a extended trip because of COVID, and I was like, I really want to start comedy. So I think the best way for me to do that right now, none of the bar establishments are open, no clubs are open, so I can't really get up on stage. I was like, the best way to do that is podcasting. So for you, that transition to online, what did that look like? How hard was it for you to do that transition? As far as your training, I guess technique slash normal, like the normal way you train people, did virtually training have a super big effect, or are you, is it easy for you to kind of watch somebody from a distance and then critique?
Yeah, well, dude, I first of all, I want to say kudos to you, man, because I'm looking at what you're doing, all the shit you're putting out, and I know how much work it takes. I know it's not easy. I know it's time consuming. So.
Oh well, thank you, man. I'm trying.
And dude, sitting in a room by yourself talking for an hour.
Yeah.
Dude,
it's when I told my wife that I wanted to start this, she's like, "What are you even gonna talk about?" And I looked like a fucking dumbass because the only thing I said was, "Oh, like new stuff." I was like, I had no direction to it, and you can see like the progress. But as far as like for you, like how was the like progress? Because I've noticed same thing with like my podcast. Your videos in the beginning, everybody starts off and you're like just trying to figure out what the fucking phone does or whatever you're recording on, and then you slowly start to like, once you get a little bit more comfortable, you're like, oh, okay, I got that mastered. You kind of move on to the all right, I'm gonna add some graphics now. I'm gonna add some letters. I'm gonna maybe an arrow to point. Like I've always looked at one Instagram page, Squat University. I think he's really good at breaking it down very simplistically, but he's also like, he's throwing like 6-7 syllable words at you, and you're like, whoa, like calm down, dog. I'm just trying to not have sciatic pain, So, so how was that lane for you when you started the virtual training?
It's completely different.
Yeah.
Training remotely is completely different. It's like the goals are the same, but the process is different. So that took me a little bit to learn how to do, and I'm still learning.
Yeah.
But dude, it's a grind, man. Social media shit is a grind.
It's because it never ends. Like, you're never really satisfied. Like, I fucking hate everything that I put out, but people will text me and like, yo, that's the best episode yet. And I'm like, thanks, man. That really helps, because I was thinking about quitting like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna be your own biggest critic.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And if you wait until it's perfect in your eyes, you're never gonna put anything out. So
yeah, exactly.
I just kind of went with the mindset of, I know it's going to be rough around the edges, but I'm not trying to be out here and be an influencer or anything. I'm just trying to get high quality information out there. Yeah. Get people quick wins.
Let's say quality, dense information in short quantities. We all know that our attention spans have kind of gone down a little bit, and that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
People don't want to watch videos that are more than like a minute long, so they just watch 30 seconds, and that's fine. And now you just got to cram like dorsiflex and other fucking words like that into a 30-second video, which, and then motherfuckers will still complain. So you can't please everybody.
No,
not at all.
Can't try to.
No, you can't. And here's the thing. If you try and please everybody, you're not going to develop your own audience. And that's one thing that I've slowly come to learn, is that, audiences are cool and all, but it's all about asses and seats. And in this instance, it's all about, who is like genuinely trying to use your training techniques and who is genuinely trying to get trained by you. And in my instance, it's guys who are actually guys and gals trying to watch my actual videos, right? So it's cold hard numbers. Are people watching it or not? So for anybody else who judges and they're not, at least in a similar game, I feel worse for you guys that are kind of one-man shows, because like your lane is health and fitness, not like podcasting or any of that, like content wise, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, you're not trying to be somebody in an entertainment facet, right? So for you guys, it's like, fuck, I got to learn how to work the camera, make my videos, and still retain what the fucking L7 does in my back. So like, for me, they all kind of flow together. Like, if I know how to edit my own videos, this is like a skill that's going to kind of help me along for forever. But I guess in some ways it'll help you as well. Like, this could be a forever thing for you, right? And this, once, you blow up and now you have physical trainers working under you, like you have teams that are either doing virtual or they're doing, house calls. So I guess it could kind of always stick around with you if you keep it as that business model. But yeah, it for you, it seems like it's working. Like, I always watch your videos. I try and support as much as I can, and I'll definitely shoot you out on the podcast Insta when this episode comes out. So
I appreciate that.
So have you gotten any weird? And so now we're gonna kind of talk experience here. All right. So I need you to put your thinking cap on. Have you gotten any weird, I guess, virtual training experiences where you were kind of like, oh, like, is that a large lamp in the background, or is that a phallic object that I'm kind of staring at?
um, well, I'll just say the type of virtual training I think you have a picture of is different from what I do. You're
Yeah.
thinking of like us jumping on a Zoom call, and I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and you crank out some squats.
Oh wow, that was exactly what I thought was happening.
I did do that for a while at the beginning,
Yeah.
But I moved away from that. So
Gotcha.
I basically have been creating an exercise library.
Oh wow,
So
yeah.
making videos of all the exercises that I use on a regular basis in my own programming.
Yeah.
And so
it's essentially the videos that you've posted. I would imagine you're posting samples to Facebook of some of the movements that you can make. Oh, okay. So some of those videos, so those are just like your workouts of the day, those videos that you post to Facebook?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, okay. So for all of you, I'm gonna put his Facebook here in the YouTube link, but he'll cover, range of movement and then also what the movements should look like. So it's very engaging. And you don't have to go to like YouTube where it's somebody you don't know and is uncerted and is probably going to tell you to just eat steroids with no off cycle. So
always got to have the off cycle.
No, always.
Be responsible.
Yeah. So I was going to say, how do you feel about that? Since I have a health and wellness expert, are you a TRT or a steroids guy, or is that something you promote? I've always felt, anything that can make my body stronger, cool. Unfortunately, the DoD does not allow steroids, so I'm not able to partake. But it's definitely a lane I'll probably look at when I'm older to, kind of have some preventative maintenance. Like, how do you feel about steroids or any sort of testosterone replacement?
Yeah, so I'm not going to speak too much on this because this is not really my
lane,
field of expertise, but
yeah,
this is just like my personal opinion on it.
Yeah, let's bro science out. That's fine.
Yeah, fuck science, dude.
Yeah.
I think it's like everything. It can be used responsibly, and people can, use it responsibly, or they could also abuse it.
Yeah.
And we see so many bodybuilders and stuff that, have died early because of it. But
yeah,
they're
also the size of fucking cows. So
the size of what?
Those bodybuilders are also the size of cows.
Yeah, that's true. Walking around on a 300 pounds on a 5'8" frame for years and years.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm 205 right now, and I'm 5'10". Most of it's in my legs and my penis, but I don't want to say that too loud. Upper body, I'm like Steve Rogers before the super serum, and then like waist down, I am just Chris Evans all day,
Oh yeah. Hey, that's where it matters. It's all waist down anyway.
Which is actually super funny now that I thought about. He had a like a dick pic incident like back like a year ago, which I now thought about, and I mean he's got a fucking hog on him, so I guess the joke works in all aspects. But
hey, all right.
all right, so we got the business started. We're training people. As far as results, what are you quantifying as results? If that's kind of behind the curtain too much, let me know. But like, how do you guys, like, do you have specific goals? Obviously you're going to have specific goals for specific people. But like when you try to use like those goals for like a metric, like what are you looking at? Are you looking at calories burned? Are you looking at, weight loss? Cause I know in some aspects, if you're cutting fat, and you're trying to sustain or maybe slightly grow muscle, that can be a very like fickle game. So I guess my question is without people getting down on themselves, how do you keep them motivated through the results?
Yeah. So you asked which kind of metrics I like to use.
Yeah.
Weight is well. Let me back up here. It all depends on what your goals are.
Yeah.
I don't have like a certain program that says, "Hey, this is gonna put."
You're gonna shred 30 pounds of fat tomorrow.
Yeah, and at some point you have to do a little bit of that to get people, pique people's interest. And,
yeah, of course.
But yeah, I work with both weight loss clients and
Strength
I
and
work with people
conditioning.
who want to put muscle mass on. So as far as metrics that I like to look at, weight is obviously a good one because you can see if you're trending up or down.
Yep.
And just by looking at that, you can see how you need to adjust your calorie intake, to fit your goals. But weight is not the only thing because, like you said, you could be losing fat, building muscle, and the scale's staying the same. And you're looking at the scale and you're like, what the fuck? I was 205 last week, not knowing that maybe you dropped 2 pounds of body fat and, put on 2 pounds of muscle.
Yeah. That's always the predicament I find myself in. Like, I'll do like a hard month worth of CrossFit, and I'm talking like comp train, like pretty intense workouts, and I just plateau. Like I'm at 205. So I can definitely feel
what else
that.
are you looking at?
What's that?
What else are you looking at other than weight?
I'm looking at waistline, how the pants are fitting. I mean, I'm completely bro sciencing it. There's no actual I'm like eyeing myself up in the mirror. So
hey, dude, that's a big one that I like to use is how your clothes are fitting.
Yeah.
Your clothes, unless you're really bad at doing laundry, are gonna stay the same size.
Yeah, that's true.
So if your pants are fitting looser, your waist is getting smaller.
That's true.
And that's a win.
Yeah.
But
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Tape measurement.
Yeah, tape measurement works.
Great.
Yeah, you just kind of use everything that's available to the customer. Yeah.
So whatever they're willing to track.
Yeah.
Is what you should track.
Have you heard of these Whoop bands? Have you checked those out?
I haven't.
Okay. I would look at Whoop. I don't know if it's something you'd want to talk to some of your trainees or some of your participants, but dude, this band is crazy. So usually every Black Friday they'll have a pretty good sale, but it not only tracks like heart rate, it'll track your sleep cycle, but it has like zones. So based off your body weight and heart rate, it'll take like 3 zones, which is like up top, it's like red, you're in the red zone. You're, too much strenuous activity. They have like a yellow zone and then a green zone. And this is like used when you're working out to like gauge intensity. So you can stay in the yellow zone and burn more calories. Or if you want to do like a super quick workout, it'll help you track like, oh, okay, is this a barn burner?
Yeah.
Or am I just, am I taking it easy? Is this a walk? Is this just like a warm up, like a really clean warm up for me? So I don't know if you're interested, but I would give those a look. My headphones just fell out a little bit. But yeah. So as far as tracking goes, I would imagine people send you the results, and have you found a lot of success in the virtual as opposed to the in-person? I don't know how long you did the in-person training, but I would imagine hopefully long enough for you to see some results from, physical, personal training and conditioning as opposed to virtual. Or did COVID kind of fuck that all up?
No, I definitely I had a good gym experience. I've been training for a while. When we were in the Marine Corps, I remember showing you like a PR squat video that I
Yeah.
just hit. I was pumped. I came up. You're like, oh man, that's cool, but I like to squat to depth.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. And I remember I was like, oh man, all right, well, let me go squat to depth now.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Buried.
I always do the and my buddies fucking hate me for it too, because I try and push it. Because here's the thing, I'm not trying to lift as much as an Olympic weightlifter, but I do feel as though their mobility and their dexterity they have within their legs and body, like I should be able to go to a full depth with an erect spine. Like that's just something that should happen. Overhead squats help that, front squats help that, and I've noticed that most of my back pain, like my sciatic pain, doesn't happen when I'm utilizing Olympic weightlifting form and I'm not like just cheese dicking.
Yeah, that's interesting because the Olympic weightlifting squat is not like your typical squat.
Yeah.
Since they're doing a lot of cleans and they got to be down
they
at
have
the
to
very
be
bottom.
Yeah, they have to be loaded. Yeah, like your body has to be loaded and ready to kind of explode.
How do deadlifts do with your back?
I'm that's actually that's a pretty good question, because here's the thing, I never really have any gauge like on my, so there's like two types of days for me. I'm either burning out on CrossFit, so I'm at like 225 doing like fucking 55 reps because it's 21 15 9.
Yeah.
So I'm either burning myself out at that, or I'm doing like 1 rep maxes. I've really got to start getting into my like like sustainment days where I'm just doing like, maybe 6 or 7 sets of 3 or 4 at like a moderate weight where I'm just doing like tempo deadlifts. But I would say when I brace my core and I'm implementing proper technique, back pain is like irrelevant. I get a little like the next day I can tell my back is fatigued, so I'm a little Gumby as far as like getting up and stuff, and I can definitely feel that like when I get up my back is a little stressed, but nothing where I feel like I'm gonna fucking. Have you seen Freddy vs. Jason?
All
right, so this movie.
Sorry to kill the reference.
No, it's all good. So the kid gets like folded in half but he's like laying on his belly, and Jason Voorhees just like stabbed the shit out of him and like folds him backwards. That's sometimes how I felt before I would implement proper technique, because I thought my back was gonna just blow out of my stomach. That's how fucking. And the problem was I didn't have the core to support the weight. And, now being a little bit older, you realize how good those like the like L holds with a kettlebell, farmer's walk with heavy kettlebell in your left hand, and then just kind of focus on the L hold on your right hand, and getting more symmetry to your body has now become my goal. And I've been training jiu-jitsu for almost 2 years now, so that's kind of been my goal. I'm already strong, so I'd like to keep the strength. Now I just need to like cut weight so I'm quicker, I'm a little bit more agile, and I feel faster, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. So what's your game plan to drop weight and maintain muscle? Do you have body fat to lose, or is
Papa's got a lot.
Are you gonna be dropping muscle?
Papa's got a lot. No, I could probably drop, I don't know, 15 or 20 pounds. It's all like in my my stomach and like where my kidneys are. I would imagine I also have a light film just kind of all over my body.
A light film.
Yeah, like my like here's the thing. My legs, you might be able to see it in the video. My legs are literally like, you can see my teardrops when I fucking extend my legs, and like the cut going up your thigh. My calves, I'm pretty defined, but I also like, I'm not like fat depleted. Does that make sense? Like when you can see guys like veins and they're just like fucking road maps. Like I've got like not necessarily burly body, but I've got like, I think you would define me as athletic. I think that's what you would, because I'm
There
still
you
like
go.
somewhat quick, but
Yeah. So what's the goal? You're trying to get down to a certain weight to like be in a certain division?
division and just kind of overall healthiness, man. I don't always eat the best, and like the way the way I talk myself into it too. I'm like, what are we gonna do? I'm gonna die, and I'm never gonna have this fucking pizza, dude. I'm gonna fucking have this pizza. I'm gonna eat the fucking pizza, you know. So I know most of it's diet, and I know it's not my workout like ethic, because when I throw down, like I'm going hard, and I just put up a heavy bag in my garage, so I'm gonna be getting some kicks in, doing some kettlebell work, and like really working on like Tabatas and EMOMs. So I know it's not my workout, like my workout. How should I say this? I don't know. I know it's not my work ethic. It's definitely it's probably all diet for me.
Yeah, I mean, definitely seems like you're working out way more than I am for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that
Uh,
because technically your job is working out. So you
yeah, man. I got a standing desk, so I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah, yeah, frig yeah, dude. We I remember we would always make fun of the officers for the standing desks, and then
Yep.
I started growing up, dude, and I'm like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, dude, this is fucking sick. I can just stand up whenever I want, still work. Like, yeah, they're fucking ingenious. Now you understand why the officers they're all about them. I was like minutes away from buying a yoga ball for my office because I was so tired of sitting on those shitty ass chairs.
Yeah. Oh,
So as far as, do you have any like weird stories where like people have come to you and they're like, dude, look, Dave, I love what you're doing. I think it's really great. Look, I'm trying to be stage ready in like a month, and I've got to lose like 40 pounds. I got to lose 40 pounds, and I'd like to gain another 50 in muscle. Is that possible? Have people come to you with crazy questions like that, or like just off the wall, like requests? It's like, dude, this isn't
yeah.
Hollywood, man. Like, we're not editing
Of
your
course.
genome here.
Yeah, of course. Actually, when I was still living down in Jacksonville area, I had people, you know, coming to me all the time trying to drop weight for a weigh-in or something, and they're like, "Dude, I need to drop 20 pounds in the next 2 days."
Oh wow.
And there are some tips and tricks that you can drop. I know
Yeah, it's called cardiac
it's
arrest.
not exactly, huh?
It's called cardiac arrest. It's
Yeah,
called stroke.
it's not really something that I would recommend, and I definitely don't want to put it on a podcast.
And the
But
only and the only reason you have a stroke is because now you don't have to go to the event. That's
exactly. Now you don't have to weigh in.
yeah, exactly. You've stroked out. You're good.
Dude, I wish I had some more crazy stories though, man.
That's good. And that no, like here's the best thing about it. That means you're working with some pretty professional people who are looking like they're researching, and that's what this is all about, right? It's like self-research. You kind of look at what you want and you make an educated decision on your goals, right? Like I think we're way past the age of like 6-minute abs. Like you could have these too with fucking Tebow, and he's trying to fucking sell you a fucking video for 6 small payments of $59.99, and they're just
Yep.
fucking taking money from you while they're incorporating a little bit of kickboxing, and they're telling you to eat fucking raw chicken. They're like,
Yep.
yeah, don't worry about that. The less cooked it is, the more clean it is. So
Yeah, I like my chicken like a little medium rare.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
a little
yeah,
pink
yeah.
in the middle.
Like the chicken shack, dog. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna blow it up, but you know what I'm talking about. Nobody knows where the chicken shack's at, but we know where the chicken shack's at. That medium rare
Yeah.
chicken. You get you some of that marinade on there, dog. So no weird stories. That's fine. That's super cool, because I've got a couple of weird stories where, here's the thing. I tried to dabble in it when back in 2018, I was trying to get into the CrossFit games. And I mean,
Yeah.
this was a goal I had sincerely set for myself. I was, after that deployment we were on, I broke my leg and I blew up, right? Like I blew up to like 220, and I'm only 5'10". So that's a lot to have on a 5'10" frame, in the ways that I had it. I lost definition in my arms. I lost definition in my abs. Obviously, I had like a little gut. I felt, I was very unconfident. I didn't like myself, so I got into CrossFit, and I slowly started to make that turn. And when it happened to me, I was still in, I think I was in Bravo Company, and I'm in Bravo Company, and we're doing the O course. I am a leader of Marines, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have to go onto the obstacle course. Dude, I had a company of dudes behind me going, up, oh, as I'm trying to jump up to the first bar to college boy roll.
Oh.
It was one of the most, I don't embarrass easy. It was hands down one of the worst moments of my life. And I think you also need those moments in your life to kind of make a change. Because after that, I was like, I'm done with this. Like, this is never happening again. And so I started, what I would do is I would run from our like battalion area to the HIIT gym. I would do a workout and then I would run back. So I made sure like all my clothes and stuff were at the barracks. So I like couldn't talk myself out of it. It was like, I'm doing this. Like, I'm running and I'm working out. I'm coming back. It was a little annoying because I had to use the gym gear, and I obviously didn't have a gym bag. And dude, it like changed my life. I started doing WODs every day. I cut down to like 175, dude. I lost like a shit ton of weight. And now I've just kind of applied those techniques from self-experience and just kind of researching things on my own. And because of that, it seems that everybody who loses weight at some point is now just a overall health expert, when really they just know their body and their limits and how they need to diet and how they need to do things. Do you feel as though like in your community that's become more of a thing? Like, people lose weight and they automatically think that they're an influencer where they can just kind of haphazardly train people, and then people are like, hey man, I'm not getting any fucking results here. And it's because they're probably using, a dietary regimen that they used, and it's not working for the other people. Do you feel like that's like prominent in your community, or?
Yeah, I mean, well, there's absolutely zero barrier to entry to be a trainer.
That's valid.
And especially like online. So there may be some of that. I try to follow the people that I'm going to learn something from.
Yeah, that's valid. It's valid.
But yeah, I'm sure there's people out there that have just done it themselves, and they're like, hey, this is what works for me.
Yeah.
But obviously everybody's different. Everybody's goals are different. Everybody's situations, what they have to work with is going to be different. The way everybody eats is going to be the most drastically different thing. So
gut
if you just
biomes
give somebody
and all
a
that.
meal plan, what's that?
Gut biomes and all that.
Yeah, exactly. If you just give somebody a meal plan and are like, hey, I did this for 2 months and I lost 30 pounds.
Yeah.
First of all, you give it to them, there's no way they're going to stick to it.
Yeah, that's valid.
No way. Because it's just too far off from how they normally eat.
Yep.
It's too much to try to switch at once.
Yeah.
So
how do you go about that? You just slowly, like, you're like, all right, what are you eating? And then you kind of break it down. Like, you slowly, like, is it meal by meal, or you just like, do you start with snacks? Like, hey, stick to your 3 squares, try to make them a little bit with like less oil or butter. And then what I want you to do is like try these snacks throughout the day. How do you go about a dietary change?
Yeah, well, it all starts with, you got to meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
So everybody's starting point's going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to just take a look at how they're eating. I try to get the most unbiased view of it, because when somebody knows they're tracking what they're eating, it's already going to change.
Yeah.
To, they're trying to change it to make it maybe not look so bad. You know?
Yeah. So you're saying like more of like a confidence in their meal, right? Like people, I don't know, like I think it's a social stigma. People feel like people are thinking they're eating healthier when they're eating a salad, but it could just be legitimately Roman lettuce and it's got no nutritional value whatsoever, and you're actually kind of self-starving yourself rather than, giving your body nutrients, right? Like you want to get those walnuts or like some form of protein, whether it's bean or chicken or like some sort of clean protein on there, and then you want to kind of use that meal and put your carbs in there, put your clean greens in there. So like people genuinely feel like I know I do it. Like if I'm going out to eat and I'm like telling people like, yeah, I'm on a diet, I get a fucking chicken Caesar salad where it's basted and it's basted. What's the word? Yeah, basted. You baste. Yeah.
Bolstered. I think bolstered.
It's bolstered in fucking creamy Caesar sauce, which is like, I don't know how many fucking calories. I might have to fact check myself later and put it up on the video, but like so I have it like completely bolstered with fucking, it's dripping from the seam. Like each leaf has fucking, a shit ton of Caesar sauce on it. And it's not doing what I want it to do, So you're saying you kind of want to just make the food work for you, right?
Exactly. So, I mean, I think you touched on something big, and that's just getting more protein.
Yeah.
That's usually one of the habits that I try to build with people, whether their goal is to lose weight or build muscle.
So do you lean, so with that being said, do you lean more towards like ketosis? Do you run like fats and proteins, or do you just kind of try and get a feel for somebody's diet and then make, I would imagine you're not out here dishing out like carnivore diets and ketosis diets or pescatarian diets to everybody, but like case by case, you might determine, hey, have you tried a carnivore diet where you're just kind of eating red meat for, let's give it 3 or 4 weeks and see how your body feels.
Yeah. So I'm not a nutritionist. I'm a nutrition coach. So
gotcha. Okay.
I mean, legally, I don't think I can tell anybody what to
eat. Yeah. Legally.
I'm giving you suggestions.
Yeah. Legally.
Like that. But, as far as like keto and stuff like that,
not your lane. Yeah.
I don't tell people to go that route.
Yeah.
Unless they've done it and it works for them. That's fine. I've got zero experience there.
Okay.
So I lean more towards balance.
Gotcha.
If I'm on a diet and it says I can't have a banana, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not living like that.
I'm crushing nanas, dude. I crush nanas all day.
Oh yeah, dude. So keto's out for me, but I know plenty of people it's worked for, especially like, I mean, people who are pretty obese, it seems to work well for, but
yeah. Well, I think that's because that's the legitimate like epitome of like having your diet work for you. Like you're burning fats just through your diet, and then through just an increase in exercise. Could be a walk, it could be the elliptical for fucking 10 minutes. As long as you're getting a little bit more activity and you're kind of putting your body through some physical stress, that ketosis is just gonna fucking it's gonna start pretty quick. I think that's what Action Bronson was doing. I don't know if you know who that is. He's kind of like a rapper, I don't know, online personality. He just recently lost a shit ton of weight. He was on Joe Rogan, and he was kind of explaining his endeavors, and I think it was his kid, if I remember correctly, that kind of shook everything into place for him, where he was just kind of like, dude, I want to be alive to like look at my kids. And that's a big point, is like, I never judge people. And the story I was explaining about me working out, like I dabbled in, trying to, and like you said, there's no fucking barriers, right? So like me, this fucking bumbling idiot, thought that I could fucking, write workout plans and dietary suggestions, if you will, for people, and it just wasn't working because I don't have the schooling for it, right? So like I had no business doing that, and thankfully I didn't injure anybody or lead anybody down the wrong path. But I get when people say that they feel judged, and my number one thing. Like if somebody, you know, asks me for tips while I'm at the gym, it's like the number one thing I can say, I always point them to other avenues like that I use. And I guess that's more of a hands-free way of me going, hey man, look, I'd love to help you. I'm just not qualified to help you. And I've kind of gained that ability in my adulthood, is to like know when I can't take care of a situation. I've always loved to be that guy. Like I like helping people. I don't necessarily want the credit for helping people. I just want people to feel better, right? And confidence can obviously be affected if you're like morbidly obese, even just a little obese. Like I wouldn't say I was morbidly obese, but I was definitely obese to my body frame. And I just didn't feel good. I didn't like my body. I didn't like myself. And if I can help somebody through tips, you know, pointing them to you, that makes me feel better because I know at least they're going to get taken care of.
Yeah. That's a huge growth for you, man.
Yeah.
Sending somebody off instead of trying to solve it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So do you get a lot of people like that are like, you know, hey, Dave, I love your training. I'm just kind of scared. I've never really worked out before. How do you deal with, I guess, beginners in the process? Obviously you have to handle them a little bit different. You have to kind of slow things down and, you know, kind of explain what the technique is and why you're bracing your core at, you know, certain aspects of movements and why you're not bracing. I mean, I guess your core should always be braced, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like you're essentially like, I would imagine it's a lot easier for people who have worked out before. And I'm assuming you're gauging that you're gauging that experience through probably like a FaceTime or, you know, just kind of trying to get to know the client. So like, what's your approach to beginners as opposed to, let's say, more veteran exercisers?
Yeah, beginners are a different breed, you know, because you got to learn how to move your body.
Yep.
Everybody thinks they know how to squat,
yep.
But if you put 10 people who've never squatted before,
knees are bowing, back's bowing, all of it. They just think I just got to go low because they see, you know, all over Instagram, like I squat low, like you it only counts if you're below 90, which is just not true.
They see Nick Racioppi over there, and he's saying, if your ass ain't touching your ankles, it ain't a squat.
Yeah.
But yeah, and everybody's gonna have different restrictions. Some people might have messed up ankles.
Yeah.
Some people might have, you know, poor hip mobility.
Yeah.
And that's something that you've got to kind of judge and work through on a case-by-case basis. But if you have, you know, if you've been working out for a year or two, you know, you kind of
know your way around the weights.
You've seen enough people. You kind of know what's going on. But I would say no matter what your training level is, it's always helpful to record your lifts, especially from the side view.
Yeah.
Like for a squat or a deadlift, even if you have a mirror in front of you, you don't know what it looks like. You only know what it feels like. So if you have that camera angle from the side and you're like, all right, yeah, it feels like when I'm squatting on the way up, I'm getting pulled up on my toes. And yeah, for sure, the bar's coming way out in front of my toes. So let me address that.
Yeah, let me pull them scapulas back. Let me pull them scapulas back, erect my chest.
Exactly.
And there's actually a really cool app. I don't know if you're aware of it. It's the like barbell path tracker. So like you'll like put a dot on your barbell and it'll show you like, you know, where it's going. A lot of Olympic lifters will use it. Because it tracks the bar path, which is obviously super important when you're lifting, you know, anything above 135 pounds. I mean, you can really mess yourself up if you're not doing it correctly. So those bar path apps are super helpful when you're looking at it from the side. And I think it records it as well. So it's like a full-on video that you can record and kind of play around with.
And that's the most valuable information you can get about your lifting right there.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, even looking at your warm-up sets, you can already see like some technique issues that may need to be addressed.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful that you said that, because I've had a couple of not heated debates, but I would say just debates about warm-ups. My friends, in my adulthood, I've realized that your warm-up is the same, if not more important than your actual workout itself, because you're priming those, primary and secondary muscles, right? And I've got pretty bad shoulders now, so my warm up is super important to me. Like I have to make sure that my shoulders get warmed up, my hips are warmed up, I'm stretching, I'm limber before I start, because it genuinely affects my lifts. Like if I have I get that the band that goes from like the back of your butt to the front of your hips, that will get super bunched up for me if I'm not rolling that out or getting like a lacrosse ball in there and kind of working hip mobility. So I'll go into a lunge, and then I'll push my knee to the side, I'll push my knee to the other side. I'm like constantly trying to work on my mobility and my flexibility, because I've learned that's what prevents injury, and you can't do that without a proper warm-up. Like a warm-up is so crucial to your exercise that people they glance over it. Like, yeah, I'm just going to do a couple of sets of, arm curls. I'm going to do some cherry pickers and I'm good to go. And it's like, no, man, that's not, you should have a light sweat before you go into a workout. It's just your body's warm and it's ready for working out. And I guarantee, and I'm sure you can attest to this, people will have a much better workout and get a lot more out of it once they've had that proper warm up.
Yeah, 100%. I'm like you, man. The older I get, the more I realize the warm up is where it's at, and the recovery too.
That's the belt around the neck, baby.
Yeah, belt around the neck.
That's the belt around the neck.
But yeah, the warm up, you should definitely be cracking a sweat. You should be addressing any tight tissues, like you said.
Yep.
Some soft tissue work, foam rolling. I'm a big fan of the lacrosse ball.
Yeah, lacrosse ball. I like it rough, dog. I want that shit to hurt.
Yeah.
Because I know if it hurts, that means it's tight.
Yeah, exactly. Healthy tissue is not going to hurt when you roll over it. So if you find a spot that's tight, you need to spend some time there.
Yep.
For sure. But yeah, you hit on it, getting your core body temperature up, cracking the sweat. That's going to help prevent injury, especially with old folks like us. You know, we need that.
Which is insane. I was just, my in-laws are down. My in-laws are down, and I was just telling them, I'm like, before I even get up, like I have to warm my ankles up. I'm 27 years old, and I have to warm my ankles up before I get out of bed. Like, this is insane to me.
Yeah, 27-year-old in the Marine Corps is like a 55-year-old in the civilian world.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Dude, your joints are taking a beating.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, dude, let me ask you this.
Shoot.
The other day, I went to go mow the grass, and it was like 10:30, and I'm like, man, I need to get out there before it gets too hot. But I start doing some stretching before I mow the grass. What about?
Hell
I was
yeah.
like, how fucking old am I that I gotta stretch before I just go?
Hell yeah.
This lawnmower?
Look, you don't want to slip a disc doing some dad shit. Your wife will never let you live it down. I was.
And that's how you'll hurt yourself. It won't
for
be
real.
Doing a deadlift. It'll be pushing.
Yeah, because
the lawnmower.
Your body's prepared for the deadlift.
Yep.
Your body's prepared for the deadlift, not for mowing. And here's the funny thing. So I moved on base, right? And the yards are so small that all my friends have the motorless, like normal, like 70s lawnmowers. So I'm sitting here doing cherry pickers, and like I was thinking about doing burpees before I started the grass the other day, because I was like, dude, I gotta get my body temp up. I gotta push this thing. I'm gonna be it's constant like push and pull movements, because the grass, like obviously the blades aren't catching the grass like every single time, so you're constantly pushing and pulling, and it's like very I try and make them explosive movements, because I started to get mad, because I looked at my wife and I'm like, there's no way this doesn't take me 3 hours. There's absolutely no way. And she's like, no, it's not going to take you 3 hours. And lo and behold, I still have like 2 20-foot patches of grass in my backyard right now, because it was just getting too late and it started getting dark. And I'm like, damn it, dude. Like, what am I doing here? Like, this is ridiculous. But I completely dude, I almost, my son's getting pretty big, and he's like up to my nipples right now. And he's heavy. He's dense. He's a dense kid. and he'll try and like jump up to me, and I'm like, yo, hold on, let me squat down, and then I got you. Like I have to like,
exactly.
I can't like just bend over and pick him up anymore.
Dude, we got to be careful, man.
We have to be careful.
We're getting old.
Fuck, I look like slipping a disc at 30, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah,
hey, it's all about longevity.
It's Pitbull has a saying. I think he says it's a marathon, not a race. He says it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Who says that?
Pitbull, the famed pop singer. Well, Dave, I've loved having you on, man. I've got to get to actually mowing that grass. I'd love to give you, you got 30 seconds, a minute, whatever you want to take, man. Shout out what you're doing here. Are you only on Facebook, or do you have a website I can send people to? Or the floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Yeah, man. I've got Facebook. I've got a website. I've got an Instagram. Facebook and Instagram, McRae SC. That's MCRAESC. And then same thing for the website. It's www.mcraesc.com. So if any of your listeners have any training questions, any nutrition questions, reach out to me on one of those platforms, and I'm always happy to chat, man.
Perfect, man. I'd love to have you back on further in life, maybe in a month or two, and we'll, I've honestly been I'm a little heavy now, so let's see if I can get some training done by you, and we'll track records, and we'll post it up on the Instagrams and make it a thing.
Man. Let's get it. You could be the face of my franchise.
There we go. No, you're the face of your franchise, my man. You're doing God's work here, extending it out. Let's live to 120. Let's do this. Dave McRae, everybody, love you so much, buddy. Thank you so much for coming on. To all my supporters, don't forget to like and share. Click the bell on YouTube. Get all notifications for new videos, and go check my man Dave McRae out. Love you guys. Peace.
Appreciate it, Nick.